Hello, good day. My name is Tamara and I'm the owner of Rockwood Recovery LLC. Rockwood Recovery LLC is a licensed and registered Heirfinder service located in St. Louis, Missouri that serves the whole of Missouri in preparation and submission of tax foreclosure surplus claims and unclaimed property claims for property held by your Missouri State Treasury. If you have any questions after this video, please visit www.rockwoodrecovery.com, shoot us an email at rockwoodrecovery@gmail.com, or give us a call at 314-692-4272. Any one of our representatives are happily standing by to answer any question that you may have. Okay, so let's get down to it. The purpose of this video is to help you and decide on who to sign a contract with when submitting your tax foreclosure surplus and or unclaimed property claims, and to let you know the difference between an actual licensed Heirfinder and a consultant or consulting firm who is claiming to do the duties of an Heirfinder. Most of the time, these folks are from out of state, and therefore there might be a little clause in their contract that says, hey, we are not licensed and registered with the Treasury, or we are not licensed and registered to do what we're doing. We are just operating on a consulting basis, but very fine print, and a lot of folks don't read the terms and conditions. So unfortunately, they get caught in those traps. Now, this video is by no means a bash or a dig at consultants in general. This video is to help Missouri residents know the difference between a consultant who's claiming to do the job of an Heirfinder and an actual licensed Heirfinder. So, as stated just now, the first difference, there's three. The first difference is the actual licensing. A licensed Heirfinder has to abide by certain laws, rules, and guidelines and statutes that are created by our state legislators and the Missouri Unclaimed Property Division. Well, also, the Unclaimed Property Division does not accept claims from unlicensed and unregistered individuals or entities on behalf of a Missouri resident. So, and we also work on contingency only, which means that the claimant bears no financial risk throughout the entire claims process. A consultant, they do not hold those licenses. And like I said, they could be, most of the time they're from out of state, so they can't get a license with the Treasury. And so what they do is they will actually reach out and say, hey, we want to help you. We've gotten this list. Somehow they've gotten the list, and we can help you prepare and submit your claim. But they don't hold the licenses. They don't have to abide by guidelines. They haven't been background checked by the Department of Revenue, or they haven't had a criminal background check. They haven't had a tax background check from the Department of Revenue, or do they have tax clearance through our state? Nor do they have that license, nor do they have that registration number that they can give a claimant. So there's a first difference. The second difference is the work that's done. Licensed and registered Heirfinders will do all the work. The only thing that a claimant has to do is sign the paperwork giving the licensed Heirfinder the authorization to put the claim together, to go get vital records, to go get a copy of the deed for a tax foreclosure surplus, to go get probate records on behalf of the claimant, especially when it comes to heirs too as well, to file those affidavits, to reach out to their attorneys. We also have attorneys that we work with, either within our office, or for more difficult claims, we have other attorneys or litigators who will actually step in and do that. We pay those attorneys up front for their services. The claimant never sees an invoice. So a licensed and registered Heirfinder will do all the work. The only thing the claimant has to do in the beginning is sign the authorization and the contract for the Heirfinder to do that work. As opposed to a consultant who is claiming to do the duties of an Heirfinder. A consultant they'll get the contract signed, right, by the claimant, and then the claimant will do all the work. The claimant will have to go up to vital records and get a copy. If they're an heir, they'll have to go get a copy of their birth or death certificate with their parents' names on it. They'll have to provide that proof. They'll have to do the genealogy. They'll have to prove their entitlement. they will have to go get, for tax foreclosure surplus, they'll have to go get a copy of that deed. They'll have to go up to probate. They'll have to search down a beneficiary deed to prove their entitlement. It's basically the claimant has to do all the work. And also, because the state treasury does not accept claims that are submitted on a Missouri resident's behalf by an unlicensed and unregistered individual or entity, what they'll do is say, okay, you've done this, you've paid your attorney, you've gone through the judgment yourself, you've done this, all that yourself. All right, now give us all that paperwork and we'll just put those in a folder and give it back to you and have you submit the claim. Oh, by the way, you still got to pay us an exorbitant fee for literally taking the paperwork that you gathered, and putting it in a folder for you. Like, we gave you a staple, and that was it. That's all. And they're charged. And the third thing is the fees. Licensed and registered Heirfinders abide by the rules and guidelines of our legislators and our state treasury when it comes to contingency fees. Therefore, we stick, like Record Recovery, we stick to the same guidelines that the Missouri State Treasury gives us for unclaimed property regarding contingency fees. So we charge 20%, which is the cap that our Missouri State Treasury sets, and our laws state 20% for unclaimed property and 20% for tax foreclosure surplus and 25% for tax foreclosure surplus with probate, just so everything's covered under the contingency. The fee never changes. Consultants, on the other hand, who claim to be doing the duties of an Heirfinder, who aren't really doing anything, who claim to be doing the duties of an Heirfinder, they will be charging exorbitant fees. And I mean 30 to 60%. We here at Record Recovery believe 30% and up is too much. It's unjustifiable. So it's just not justifiable. So these consultants, even though the claimant's done all the work, they will still charge that claimant after that fee comes in. After that check is issued to the claimant, that consultant will want 40, 50, 60% of the entire claim amount for doing absolutely nothing. And that is extremely unfortunate for Missouri residents because it is their entitlement. They should be able to keep as much of it as possible according to law. And also, you know what I mean? Like, the licensed Heirfinder actually does the work. The claimant just sits back, but the consultant will have the claimant do all the work and still charge them an exorbitant fee. Make it make sense. I will give an example. I myself am a disabled veteran, and I was targeted by a consulting firm who said, hey, if you sign our contract and pay us 5 times your monthly entitlement for your disability that you get, we'll help get your claim, we'll help win your claim. And I said, what does this entail? They're like, you're going to have to pay for the doctor's note. You're going to have to pay for the Nexus letter. You're going to have to gather your documents. You're going to have to go get your C-file. You're going to have to do this. We don't have access to your va.gov or MyHealthyVet or any of your medical records. We don't have access to anything. So you're going to have to do all this by yourself. Oh, by the way, send us all those documents and we'll just put them together in a packet and send them back to you. And then you're going to submit it to the VA, the Veterans Benefits. And I was just like, why on earth would anybody pay you 5 times their monthly disability benefits? Why would any veteran who's been hurt in combat, and I actually got hurt in combat, and it was like, why would anybody do that? Make it make sense. I hung up. I was like, no. They're like, ma'am, we can get your claim finished in this amount of time. And one thing about Veterans Benefits is that the DVA, the Department of Veterans Affairs, works at their own pace, so nobody can promise that they're going to get anything done in a certain amount of time. It just doesn't happen. And the same thing with, yes, there are certain deadlines that the Treasury has to meet. There are also certain deadlines that the county has to meet regarding tax foreclosure surplus. But we can give a time frame for tax foreclosure surplus. We can give some sort of time frame. I have a claimant now where the back tax team has let me know, hey, it's our busy tax season. It's going to take longer than the normal 30 days because we're processing real estate tax payments and property tax payments. So we're very busy. They had an employee walkout. They let me know it's going to take more than the original 30 days. And so I let my claimants know, hey, it's going to take 30 to 90 days. And I gave them a time frame. And if it goes beyond that, or if we feel it's going to go beyond that, we will let you know. We will definitely alert you immediately. That being said, when it comes to Missouri State Treasury, they try to get it done within that 90 days, but we cannot guarantee that any government entity is going to do anything. We're dealing with the government here, so there's no guarantees when dealing with state or federal government or even local government. So anybody who says that they're going to guarantee anything, you can give a roundabout time frame, but never ever tell somebody. No Heirfinder should ever tell you, yeah, it's gonna get done in this amount of time. No. So consultants will do that, and then these folks, these claimants get excited, like, yeah, I'm gonna have a check in my hand in 30 days, and then when it doesn't happen, that consultant's making excuses. So I just advise people, go with licensed and registered Heirfinders. Ask for that license and registration number. Go check your Secretary of State website to make sure you're dealing with a legitimate business. Call your treasury to make sure you're dealing with a registered Heirfinder, licensed and registered Heirfinder with them, and that your claim, you're not going to have to be the one doing all that. You're not going to have to pay for anything out of pocket. A claim, once again, I will say this over and over again, with a licensed and registered and legitimate Heirfinder, a claimant should never have to come out of pocket for anything during the entire claimed process. And last but not least, when it comes to those fees, licensed and registered Heirfinders get their checks directly from the Missouri State Treasury and or the county. So what we do is have them issue separate checks, and that way, when the checks are issued, the claimant doesn't have to go to the bank, wait for that money to clear, and then write another check to the Heirfinder. What it's done is the county will issue separate checks, one for the claimant for their percentage, and one to the Heirfinder for their percentage. And then the Treasury will send two separate checks, one for the claimant and one for the Heirfinder. Consultants, on the other hand, the claimant will get the check, have to take it to the bank, wait for it to clear, issue another check. They'll have to issue a check for the consultant themselves. And even then, it's just the fee. I couldn't imagine. My heart would break if I had to pay somebody 40, 50, 60% of my entitlement and I had to write the check for that. No. No. I'd be handing it over begrudgingly if I signed a contract for something like that. So it's one of the reasons I'm creating these videos, to keep Missouri residents safe from stuff like that. It really burns my cookies to see Missouri residents get shafted in that way. So if you have any questions after this video, please visit www.rookwoodrecovery.com. Shoot us an email at rookwoodrecovery@gmail.com, or give us a call 314-692-4272. Any one of our representatives are happily standing by to answer your questions. Till next time.